Welcome to Embody, a space to embody your true color, love. I'm Pratima Prashanjeet. Have you ever watched kittens playing? They would find so much awe and wonder in a ball, maybe a strand of fabric that's hanging off of a chair, or a box. Have you ever watched a kitten just having the time of its life with a box? And if you stand there in that moment, pause and observe his interaction and that phases of and moments of joy, which is an empty box, in that very moment, you would have been aligned with that same experience that the cat or the kitten is experiencing, awe and wonder and joy, and accepting the moment as is. No past, no future. You're present in that moment and just consuming and bathing and drowning yourself in laughter and joy. It's like that Christmas morning feeling that I always talk about and I always go back to and try to imagine it as if it's right here now. Christmas morning every day, or any particular holiday on the calendar that you very much love and look forward to, whether it's the Festival of Colors, Pagwa or Holi or Easter or Deepavali or Christmas Day. Imagine we could have those festivities every day. Wouldn't that be a wonder? But we can when we change our perceptions and aligning them and aligning it to the feelings that we want to embody and create in our everyday moments. Feelings and emotions that attune us to our essence of feeling alive, feeling joy and wonder, as opposed to feeling numb. Numbness is something which we have identified with, in the past years. If you observe yourself right now, whether in different areas in your lives, in your relationships, your career, at home, maybe out of every 10 out of moments of every minute or throughout the day, you may have 80% of your thoughts and your emotions are attuned to, I don't know where I'm going with my life. I need more of this. I want this. I'm not happy. Or you're stuck with some moments in the past and fearing what the outcome of your future would be. And when you look at it that way, you realize how much we focus our attention with our present moment, here and now. This is all there is. We use what we have now, here and now, this present moment, our awareness to attend to the feelings and the events which we don't really want. I cannot stress this enough. Think about it for a moment. We use our here and now, this present moment, and this is currency. This awareness is very much currency. So we use this currency that we have, presence, and we spend it on emotions, events that trigger emotions that make us feel numb and fearful and doubtful and sabotaging exactly what we're worth. So when you look at it, really, we keep covering up our worthiness with things that are not real. If we keep going back and forth from the future to the past and paying attention to what's not real, what is not there, what's not happened as yet, what doesn't serve us, when we keep doing that, we're covering up our worthiness. And there is no space really to focus on what exactly we want. So when you think about it, as I'm here, I'm alive. This feeling of existence, this is who I am. So my relationship with the present moment, which is life itself, being here, being now, my relationship, there is no love whatsoever. There is no sensuality. There is no fun or joy because I'm not living with the present moment. I'm mostly sabotaging about my past and future. And I forgo what I have, what mattered the most to me, what is in front of me, this essence. And this pattern that we embody in every day, we don't realize it, but when we embody these imaginations and emotions and feelings of doubt and scarcity, we don't realize it, but this feeling, this habitual doubt and scarcity and anger and constant chasing and not being content becomes the blueprint for our future. So while you're worried about your future by just thinking about and ruminating about your past, you're exactly building your future based on this frequency that you're exuding. Worrying, chasing, not enough, feeling unfulfilled. These frequencies is what your future will be built on, because your future really depends on how you feel, how you're living in this present moment right now. Exactly what you do here and now is exactly what your future would be like. And we realize that purpose now becomes your relationship with here and now, making the now your lover, your beloved, falling in love with the present moment. Because this is what life is. This is who I am. Existence in life, now, here. So when I started to be content, bathe my life in this gratitude with joy and acceptance of what is, and start looking at things from different perspective, we start to change these emotions and these frequency that we start to want our future self really to align with, to become based on how we're feeling now. So when you switch those narratives and those stories that you tell yourself about yourself, shifting from self-doubt to self-acceptance and self-love, we start to repattern our emotions. We embody these new frequencies, which your body now start to accept because of the years and decades of just living and embodying the same pattern of unworthiness and unsatisfaction, unfulfillment. We start rewriting this blueprint of what really serves us. And how can we do that, really? And here's where spontaneity and awe and wonder and that kind of childishness and playfulness can start to color our life. Those very much parts of us which we just shut out so we can make space for doubt and fear and scarcity. So why not bring in those back? Bring back the laughter, bring back the childishness, and bring back the playfulness. If there is something in your life that may sound as silly or childish, pursue it. Because in those very moments of childlike and playfulness, that present moment in itself, enjoyment in the present moment, it fulfills itself. It doesn't need a reward, or it doesn't need anything to justify itself. It just is. Enjoyment is just enjoyment. So when you start to bathe in that, just find the joy, falling in love with the present moment through finding fun in doing the dishes, in your gardening, sweeping your house, being in the company. You start to trigger these chemicals in your body, your hormones, that your body go through these hormonal changes, which kind of start to repattern what is it you starting to feel. And the state in your body, it becomes in that rest mode, in that safety mode and acceptance mode. And because you start letting go of the tensions and things that made you hold on to resistance, you start to letting go. That from the minute you start allowing childlike feelings and playfulness to happen in your life, your body starts to feel relaxed, and stress hormones would have started to drop, because no longer are you constricting, and you're no longer activating that sympathetic part of your nervous system, because you're not reacting or responding to that anxiety of the past and future and fear of the past and future. So you're no longer activating that pattern in your body. You would have shifted your parasympathetic mode, resting, letting go, feeling alive, love, peace, harmony, acceptance of what is. And what happens is, without you even realizing it, since you're no longer living in fear zone, your cortisol level drops, your stress hormone drops, and which is allowing space for joy and awe and wonder. And that kind of alters your electromagnetic frequency, that energy that's radiating throughout your body. And you start to wonder, situations and start to change in your life. People start reacting to you differently, because you're no longer exuding fear and stress and hormone, because you are a feeling species. We feel deeply. We are intuitively feeling beings. And due to our evolutionary constant changes, we tend to navigate life mostly on that logical part of the logical, aggressive, masculine way of being that we started, which made us bury in that very feminine, intuitive, emotional, primitive way of being, which is feeling and emotions. So when you start to feel deeply through just playful, just start imagining and relax a bit more and rest in your being, which is really awe and joy and wonder, that triggers your entire being. And the more you keep embodying that feeling, that new pattern, who you really are, that very frequency that you start to radiate, it changes everything in your life. Opportunities start to come around. You feel so good in your body. Your relationships feel a lot more alive. Your finances, things are changing. You may get a raise of pay or a promotion, because people start feeling that love and that joy that you're radiating, and that triggers the way they respond and react to you. Because when you start to operate and vibrate at a certain level, biologically, the persons in your environment, everything shifts and we align, because everything wants to be in harmony. Everything wants to resonate and create that coherence. Ayurveda, this is what Ayurveda really is about, to bring in your inner and outer world in sync with harmony and resonance and coherence. So from the moment and this is where, when we want to know what's happening in our life, we give it a moment and we start to reflect based on what's happening on the outside. If it's not what really we want, if things aren't aligning in the way that suits us, you start shifting from your inside. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to start repatterning how I really feel on the inside. Let me shift to my rest mode and letting go. Maybe I'm activating too much of that cortisol, so let me shift back. And this is what really somatic therapy is. It's recalibrating your nervous system, because your emotions are really stored in your nervous system throughout your body, and that's where you feel tensions in your gut. You have that deep gut feeling when the rain falls. You feel that pain in your knee. And if you go through loss, you feel that heaviness in your chest. So when we start to adapt in this resting zone, being in the present, live in the now, accepting as it is, our body really recalibrates to its original state, parasympathetic mode. And simple things as staring at nature, staring at the tree, watching kittens play. More importantly, imaginations. When we start to use our imaginations, based on if there's something in your life that you want to change, the fun part of it, the playful part, what this playfulness really means is use your imagination to look at it as if it's something the way how you want it to be. Whether if it's in your career, if you're, working at somewhere that you don't like, use your imagination. Feel like and pretend like it's where your dream job really is, and you're doing the work which you want to do. When you start to use your imaginations, what happens is you kind of trigger those hormonal changes in your body, and you start to embody the emotions aligned with those imaginations, those visualizations. I mean, we've been doing it, in our always using the present to focus on the past, to kind of reinforce those limiting beliefs and behaviors, and projecting it into our future. So why not reverse your imaginations? You can also look in your past for those moments of victory and success and love and wonder. The same way you were looking into your past for moments of disgust and hatred and anger and fear, rewire that pattern, rewrite the story, and look for moments of that healed you, that uplifted you, and make you feel at alignment. So it is so important. Imaginations and visualizations, they always work. They're in the most joyful and playful way, because I've said this before, our brains cannot differentiate between an event that is highly imagined and one that is real. So when I use my present to ruminate and imagine past situations that hurt me, my body still feels like I'm in this fear zone, and it would react and live in this fear zone, and you want to know why things not going your way in your life. So you rewrite the story. Imagine what is it in your life that you want to change, whether in your relationships. If you're in a relationship that is not fulfilling, imagine that your partner and you are living the most beautiful life ever, and you're loved and you're accepted for who you are, rather than looking at him as this guy who doesn't treat me well. The more you look at the situation from that perspective, the more you embody the emotions and feelings that align with the situation as is. And if you just live as if you're living your best life, regardless of what's happening on the outside, your inner world really dictates your outer environment. And the more I embody what is it I want, not really what's happening, but what I want, my brain thinks that, yes, I am living this contented life. So what happens is, as we start to create the experience, the inner experience of what we want to manifest in our lives, the more we are repatterning, remolding, and reshaping our brains to create those experiences. So the brain started to create new neural circuitry that will eventually create, materialize those experiences in your actually 3D world. But it starts from your inner world, your inner environment, using your feelings and your emotions and your imaginations. It is so beautiful, it is so wonderful, and it is exciting and playful at the same time. Nobody knows what you have to do if you don't want to share it. Many times if I'm driving somewhere and I know that it may be a lot of traffic, before I go into the car, like the day before, I would start imagining myself just having this beautiful long morning drive and watching the sunset, and there is no vehicle on the road. It's just me driving and I'm enjoying this drive. And I can tell you, it works. Many times I would just reach efficiently, quickly, and reach back home in, less than a few hours. But if I'm going somewhere with this mindset and this feeling that, oh my gosh, traffic's gonna be so heavy, I don't feel like going anymore. So you're already cursing your day before the day ever started. Why not start blessing your day by just giving it a thought, giving it emotion? Picture your day how you want it to be. I usually do this like from the night before. If I know there's somewhere that I have to go, I would have these imaginations of if I have to go to the bank or if I'm meeting with someone. I just imagine my day, how is it I want it to be, effortlessly and successfully. The meeting was successful and driving home and to the place was enjoyable. And when I'm imagining these things, your body respond as if it's really happening, because you're feeling the emotions, that because your brain doesn't know what's real or what's imagined. And when you start to understand that truth, you really use your consciousness and your awareness to your advantage. Where your attention goes, things grow. So the more I place my attention and my focus and concentration on what I want to happen in my life, on my terms and my way, that's my focus. That's how I'm spending my currency, not in what I do not want. For most of the times, we give our attention and our focus to what we don't want. And then we question, why is this happening to me? But we never realize it's happening because that's all you're thinking and that's all you're chanting. Why is it happening? Why is it happening? And we build and that awareness, that consciousness of that situation. It expands. We're feeding it. We're fertilizing it. This knowledge, it is not anything new. It has been taught to us for millennia, and it has been forgotten because we feel we've strayed so far away from our roots of who we are. We are spiritual beings, and we forgetting our currencies, our innate tools that we have, that we can use at our advantage, because we got distracted by the material world, the 3D world. We're so addicted to dopamine chasing and the outer world, and we feel that the outer world is what dictates how we feel in the inside. But it starts from within, creating that environment within, creating the space within so that you can feel ready and safe to hold what is it you're calling in your life. And, this is what embodies the whole idea of playfulness. At the same time, it's very therapeutical at the same time. Using somatic therapy by embodying feelings and emotions that you want, you're recalibrating your nervous system. At the same time, you're flooding your body with those good chemicals, oxytocin and serotonin and endorphins, which really activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which puts you in that rest zone, that enoughness, that aliveness. And this is exactly the state that people hope to achieve during meditation. But meditation is just one tool that you could use. Playfulness is what you can also embody to create that inner environment of awe and wonder and space. And you can do this in your everyday moments. All you have to do is put things in perspectives that you want to see in your reality. Your reality is dependent on your inner environment. And you use your inner environment, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your feelings, your imaginations to create the world that you know you are worthy of. These informations, they were not taught to us because apparently it doesn't suit our 3D lives or material life. But this is what the ancient books were there for, to remind us of our heritage. These ancient wisdom, why do you think they survived millennia after millennia? Whether it's the Bible, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Bhagavad Gita, why do you think they have survived millennia after millennia? To remind us of our heritage, that we can create the life, the reality that we want when we start to embody existence, which is now being present, and used our imaginations, use our feelings, and create the beliefs that are aligned with the life that we want to create for ourselves. Of course, these books were written ages ago to suit the life then. So the language that these wisdom were tolling is very much different from the ones we speak today. So we may not always interpret the knowledge to suit our frame of thinking. And one of this whole idea of playfulness, it reminds me of this grand festival in India. It's called it happens during the monsoon season. It's an entire festival, like maybe 7 days a week, and it's like these swings, the Radha and the Krishna swing, which is like these love couples. And this is an entire festival in the entire village. They would have these beautifully decorated swings with all of the hibiscus and roses, and they would have these doll-like figurines that symbolizes these idols, Radha and Krishna, which is very much personification of presence, of awareness, of love and joy, which who we are. And they would have them and they would swing them and slides back and forth. So that entire story of the swing is really what happens when we embody our innate nature, when we embody our nature, joy, finding joy in the everyday moment, fall in love with the present moment as it. Make the present moment your best friend, your lover. When you embody that fun and that love, that acceptance of what is in your everyday moments, life meets you in that same way. Your lover comes to you in that same way. So life really is telling you, ah, there you are. I've been waiting for you to arrive as you. So we weren't here as ourselves. We were here for someone who we didn't want for ourselves. But when we start narrate and rewrite the script, we arrive in this moment as we are who we are. Joyful, happy beings. And then life rearranges itself to match what you're embodying and match what you are evoking based on your feeling, your frequency. Ask yourself, what is your frequency? What is the number one, your dominant emotions and feelings that you exude and you embody every day? Is it joy? Is it always fatigue? Or is it anger? Is it too busyness? Is it not enoughness? When you give your awareness to that frequency that you embody and you exude every day, you'll have a pretty good idea of what your life is reflecting. All right? That is so important. If you don't like how your life looks like on the outside, take a look at the inside of that dominant feeling, that dominant thought pattern, that dominant emotion that you evoke and you exude. From there, you switch and you rewrite the pattern of what is it you want your life to look. So life is here for you to reflect on. If you don't like the way that life's treating you, why do you think is that? It's because you're not treating yourself the way you don't want. And we're often unconscious of this because it's not something that we feel. We've become so, this habit, the thought patterns and the thinking patterns, they've become so habitual that we don't realize it. But the sweetness and the playfulness of life is that life shows you what is hidden within you. And when you don't like what you're seeing, you don't like what you're reaping, then you realize there's something unburied in you that you need to change and realign, whether it's that belief, whether it's the feeling. Change the belief, and the imaginations and the emotions automatically change to align with that belief. So when you tell yourself that you are already whole, you're already radiant, regardless of what the outside look like. Remember, we've created the outside based on our dominant feeling, thinking patterns, and behavioral patterns. That's okay, we can change it. When we start to remember our heritage, where we come from, our roots, that we're already whole and radiant, that belief completely changes your imaginations and it automatically shifts the emotions from shame and grief to awe and wonder and joy and love. It is that emotion, that feeling that you embody every day in your everyday moment that really dictates your life. So I'm going to tell you this. If you can do one thing for yourself today, is to play more. Enjoy your everyday moments. As silly as it is, as weird and strange as it is, pursue it. Because illusion and weirdness and silliness exactly who we are. We're joyful, jolly beings. We are imagination, really. Because everything we imagine and we eventually embody, that's what we create. Do you ever wonder why the monks are always laughing and happy? Because they're embodying their nature. When you embody that jolly, playful feelings, you're aligning with awe and wonder, and your body mirrors what you're feeling, which is letting go and resting and just being in awe. And that's exactly how life meets you. If this strike a truth in you, trust it. And remember, you're not only finding your voice, you're becoming it. Until next time, embody your true color, love.